If you're tired of having the same old Sims 4 default holidays in your calendar, but you don't know which holidays to add, I've got you. Today I'm going to show you how to set up your Sims 4 calendar to match an entire IRL year, complete with realistic holidays, monthly breakdowns within each season, and some mods that you can download to really customize and make your holidays your own. Plus, stick around for the end of the video where I'm going to show you a free Notion template that you can use to set up your own version of an IRL year. Hey Cozy Cuties, welcome back to the Cozy Cutie Club. My name is Christy and I like to share Sims 4 content to inspire you and help you find new ways to enjoy your gameplay. So if you're new here, welcome into the Cozy Cutie Club. If you're not new, welcome back. As always, if you enjoy this content, please hit like and subscribe. It helps other people just like you find my videos as well. Now let's get into the video. Recently, I have been rediscovering the Sims 4 calendar feature, which if you're not aware, came with the Sims 4 Seasons pack. I never really used to pay a lot of attention to my holidays, but I started to slowly add in more and more realistic holidays to match like the major ones that we celebrate in the US, and it really helped me enjoy my gameplay more. So in this video, I am going to break down a complete Sims 4 28-day season holiday guide, and I'm even going to go through like all the traditions that I chose for each holiday, show you where I put everything exactly. A little bit of a disclaimer, I do use mods. Specifically, I do use mods for my calendar and my holidays. I will say though, I don't think that you need these mods to be able to use the majority of the calendar that I'm going to share with you. And if you want to download those mods, they are also going to be linked in the description of this video. I'm going to break this video into 4 sections, so feel free to skip through as you wish. Okay, so number one, I want to talk about how I set this up and why I set it up the way that I did. Major spicy brain girly here. So you know I had to systemize this like down to the freaking core. I needed to make sure that each season was broken down into months, and you'll see that broken out in the calendar. It'll make more sense once we're going through it visually. So like example, we have 28 days in the season. That means we've got, let's say, 10 days for January, 9 days for February, and then 9 days for March. Now, I just want to cover a couple of like general notes that I think are important to keep in mind. I tried to keep each holiday inspired by major holidays with a little bit of Sims whimsy. I didn't want to just, you know, they have Harvest Fest, they don't have Thanksgiving. So I wanted to keep the same level of whimsy and creativity. So none of the holidays are actually going to be exactly what they are in real life. I also want to point out that I did include most major US holidays, so not every holiday is here. I want to make it very clear that none of the stuff that I included is included because of religion, though it might be tied to religion in real life. It really is just meant to be a celebration. Something else I want to know is that I would say some of the holidays in this guide are very family focused, for example, summer vacation, but there's definitely a lot of ways that you can like spin things if you wanted to. Like instead of doing a kids summer vacation, you know, maybe you just have like an annual vacation that your sim takes during the summer, and then you just cut back the amount of days. Whatever it is, I feel like it's very workable, but I just wanted to put that out there. And lastly, as a general note, I want to say I have never played with 28-day seasons on short lifespan, so I would recommend playing on normal or long if you're going to follow this guide. If you want to see a 14-day season guide, or if you want to see a 21-day season guide, which I know is possible because of a mod, please let me know in the comments and I can put something together. Now we're going to jump into the game and we're going to walk through each season and each holiday, and I am so excited to show you guys. Okay, you guys, this is my girly girl, okay, Cozy Cutie Club as a sim. Yes, that is the literal name of my household, but her name is Cozy Cutie Club. That's me. Does she look like me? No, I don't think so. I suck at making Sims. That's not the point of this video. So we're gonna move right along. All right, so I'm gonna go through all of the seasons and I'm gonna start with spring. That's how I set up my guide, to start with spring. I don't know why spring just feels like a start to me. So technically, spring starts with March. So from this day to this day, we are in March. From this day to this day, we're in April. From this day to this day, we're in May. Also, if you see me looking to the side, it's because I'm looking at my guide, because your girl cannot remember everything in this spicy little brain. So our very first holiday is Lucky Gnomes Day, which is a variation of St. Patrick's Day. I thought it would be so fun because I really wanted a St. Patrick's Day, but I feel like it didn't make sense to me for it to be St. Patrick's Day. So we have kind of like what people would do when it's St. Patrick's Day, which I feel like this is more focused on adults per se. So we have drinking, going on vacation or traveling. That would be like going to a bar. I don't really feel like you would go on a vacation to celebrate St. Patrick's Day, but if you want to, you do that. And then holiday gnomes, invite guests, and party spirit. I feel like, and hear me out on this, I know holiday gnomes are technically a part of Harvest Fest, but guess what? My version of Harvest Fest does not have holiday gnomes. You can change that if you want. If that makes you upset, that's your right. But I thought it was such a fun spin. Lucky Gnomes Day is not a day off from school or work. And then we have spring break. So I tried to keep the icons consistent, and you'll see a lot of these icons. If you don't have the more icons mod, they don't look familiar to you, but don't worry, we'll cover that towards the end of the video. This whole week is basically spring break. These 4 are all going to be the exact same traditions. It's going to be going on vacation or traveling, which I feel like you would do either. And then invite guests. I put park because it's springtime. I feel like people spend time outside when it's spring. And then party spirit and water fun, because I feel like you start to get into kind of like the water activities during spring, depending on where you live. Spring break is going to be a day off from school or work. Now, I know that there's a mod that you can put school holiday as a tradition, and it basically means that kids don't go to school, but adults still have to go to work. The only reason I don't like using that tradition, even though I have it in my game just in case, the only reason I don't like using that tradition is because it uses up a tradition space, and when you toggle the setting to make it a holiday that's off from work or school, your adults can still go to work. So what I do is I just like let them go to work and the kids will stay home. And if they want to skip work, they can. You know, you can count it as like a PTO day or whatever. I know it doesn't use up a vacation day, so maybe you want to like maneuver that a little bit with like a cheat or something, or just pretend, I don't know. But I personally don't like to lose a tradition slot just because I want to have my kids stay home from school. For that, I just use the built-in setting and work around it. So because this entire week is supposed to be spring break, Mischief Day, which is supposed to be April Fool's Day, Mischief Day is also a day off. The only reason it's a day off is because it's in the middle of spring break. It just kind of like overlaps. And for Mischief Day, it's pretty straightforward. I wanted to have a couple of holidays throughout here that were going to be like more lighthearted and easier and like less elaborate and not necessarily something that is a cause for like a big celebration. So the only tradition here is Mischief Spirit. And then that Sunday is Bunny Day, and this would be the Sims equivalent of Easter in real life. So the traditions are egg hunt, flower bunny, going on vacation or traveling, inviting guests, and party spirit. Unlike in real life, I have Bunny Day set to not be a day off from work or school. I just didn't feel like it needed to be a day off in The Sims, so it's not a day off in The Sims. And then the following Wednesday, we have Nature Day, which, as you might have guessed, is Earth Day. I thought this was a fun one to include because it's not so family or social focused. It's more focused on like environment and doing stuff like around the community. So the traditions are apply eco upgrades, donate, hiking trip, island cleanup, reduce, reuse, and recycle. A lot of these are modded traditions. I think you could still make it work if you don't have a modded tradition. And this one is not a day off from school or work. Then we have Mother's Day. Traditions are give gifts, go on vacation or travel. I feel like a lot of people do go out for Mother's Day, whether it's like going out to a restaurant, invite guests. Then we've got Thankful Spirit, which I thought was a fun twist because you can kind of like show your appreciation for your mother or like the mother figures in your Sims lives, and visit family members, which visit family members I believe is a modded tradition. And this is not a day off from school or work. And our very last holiday in spring is a teacher planning day. Honestly, honestly, you guys, when I had the idea to add teacher planning days into my game, which, by the way, if you don't know what a teacher planning day is, so you have context, it's basically just like a day you get off from school because they call it a day for like teachers to plan and do lesson plans. As a kid, this was such an exciting day that you would look forward to during the school year, and it happens multiple times during the school year. So I just thought this was a good excuse for like, if you have a family, to have your, a parent take the day off and maybe go and do something fun, or have your kids maybe like get into some trouble because they stayed home from school because it's teacher planning day and their parents who had to go to work. The traditions are games, go on vacation or travel, invite guests. I feel like a lot of people do plan vacations around teacher planning days with their children, so I feel like either would work here. And then invite guests, visit friends, and watch movies. So yeah, so this is a day off from work or school, but like I said, you can still send your adults to work. And that is it for spring. Okay, let's move on to summer. Okay, so don't be scared. Please don't run away. I know there's a lot of stuff going on here. Hear me out. Hear me out. Okay, we'll get there. We shall get there. Now, first off, summer. We've got June, July, and August. So this is the start of June. This is the end of June. Then we've got July, which goes from here all the way through, I believe it's here, and then August through the end of the season. First, summer solstice. I was actually on the fence of including this in the video or in the guide, but I feel like it's just bringing in a bit of that like Sims whimsy and a good excuse to go out and like go to a summer festival, or maybe it's like you get a telescope if you're into logic and like you want to stare at the moon, or I don't know, because it's like the longest day of the year or something like that. You could have like a summer solstice bonfire at the beach. I mean, there's so many good ideas. So for summer solstice, we have barbecue, beach, go on vacation or travel, park, and water fun. It is not a day off from school. And then over here on Friday, we have the last day of school. I know that this is technically not a holiday, but it feels like a holiday when you're in school and when you're a kid. So I thought it would be so fun to bring it in. And you can treat it as kind of like a day where like your family goes out to celebrate, or, maybe you go on vacation that weekend because you're celebrating like the end of the school year. But I just thought it would be a good way to mark the end of the school year and make it feel way more realistic in The Sims. So we have last day of school, and then the traditions are games, go on vacation or travel, invite guests, mischief spirit, because a lot of times I feel like, especially the older kids, when it's the last day of school, you do like a school prank. So I thought that that would be a good one to include in here and would make for some really fun gameplay. And then we have visit friends, of course. Then the following Sunday, we have Father's Day. So of course we have Mother's Day, we have Father's Day. I think if you wanted to keep this more generic, you could easily just do like a Parents' Day. Our traditions are give gifts, go on vacation or travel, invite guests, thankful spirit, and visit family members. It's very similar to Mother's Day. You would just celebrate it differently based on who the Sims are that are in your household and in your life. I feel like these also give you an excuse to see your family members and like get together, because I don't know about you, but when I'm playing The Sims, I struggle to keep up with my friends and family members and like extended family members. This is not a day off from work or school. And now we can talk about this. Every holiday with the sun is summer vacation. I know it's 2 weeks out of the entire season. That's a lot, but hear me out. I considered making it shorter. I couldn't quite get it to work. And if I was going based off the ratio that I created for all of the months within each season, it just made the most sense to have summer vacation be this long. Like realistically, summer vacation is like 2.5 months. So I think in here, it's really just 2 months. I know this is a long time. Depending on where your Sims are at, if you're playing on normal, this might be way too long for your children's Sims. Like they might age up before they can go back to school. So by all means, if you're playing on a different lifespan, you can shorten this to just like 1 week. I just felt like it didn't make sense if spring break was 1 week and then summer vacation was also going to be 1 week. But that's just how my brain processes it and how my brain prefers it. If you rather shorten it, by all means do. The traditions are go on vacation or travel, very popular during the summer, invite guests, visit family members, visit friends, and then we have water fun. So I wanted to make it a lot about like socializing and doing activities, because if I were to include traditions specific to like a specific activity, I feel like there wasn't enough room. So you can still do all of those activities that you would do, like go to the park, go to the beach, go to the pool, but I just didn't make it a tradition. But if you wanted to make it less social, you could easily just swap these. So you can have this one be beach, this one be park, and like this one be, maybe you leave this one as visit friends. I don't know. But I feel like this is a great reminder for us to treat a summer vacation like we would if it was in real life. Maybe your teens get a part-time job just for this time period. Maybe your child sims start a summer camp, and then you can do like a getaway aspect where they just go to camp for like, you know, 1 week or something like that. And then this is Fireworks Fest, which you can probably guess is 4th of July. This counts as a day of summer vacation, obviously, because it's in between all of the other summer vacation. But regardless, it is a day off because 4th of July technically is a day off in real life. The traditions are fireworks, go on vacation or travel, invite guests, party spirit, and water fun. And then over here at the very end, we have the first day of school. And the main reason, outside of the fact that we want to like really frame the summer vacation and the school year, the main reason that I have this is because it's a great reminder for us to treat the first day of school like a real first day of school and like take pictures of our Sims standing like in front of the house with their book bags. But there's so many other things you can do. Like you can have your parent Sim like cook them a really fun breakfast. They can be really nervous before the first day of school. Maybe they journal about it like the night before. I put in here the traditions as like give a hug, which is so simple, and then read a book, just because I don't know, you'd probably read a book in school, or maybe like the day you come home from school, like you pretend like reading a book is part of their homework. I don't know. Take photos and then visit family members. Maybe your grandma comes over and she's like, how was your first day of school? I thought this was a good one to add in there. Now we're gonna move on to fall. Okay, so this is probably our first season that it's not so holiday heavy. I wanted to have a little bit of breathing room, and also it just kind of like lined up perfectly with the way that the months are in fall. We have September, which goes from here to here, and then we have October through to Samhain, and then this is November all the way through the end of the season. And so to start off, just like we did for summer, we have a autumn equinox. And by the way, summer solstice, autumn equinox, that's exactly what it's called in real life. I feel like it fit for the Sims. It still matched and felt like it would be part of like the Sims world, but if you want to change it up, you absolutely can. For the autumn equinox, just like summer, I feel like it's just a good excuse or a good reminder for us to do those festive seasonal activities that we have access to in the Sims. The traditions are carve pumpkin, decorate, fall fun, go on vacation or travel, and visit grocery stall. I looked at visit grocery stall as like going to a farmer's market or like a fall festival. So you can interpret that however you want. Some of these are obviously mods like fall fun, definitely a mod, but I love when a tradition encompasses multiple related activities and not just one. And this is not a day off from school or work. And then the following day we have a teacher planning day. So this is meant to mimic Labor Day in the US. So Labor Day is September, I think it's what is it, September 1st? I think it's like the first Monday of September. So I tried to mimic that, but I just called it a teacher planning day. So we have games, go on vacation or travel, invite guests, and party spirit. And then we don't have any more holidays until the end of October, which is Halloween, a classic. I call it Simoween. You can call it Spookyween, whatever you want to call it. The traditions are, as you might guess, decorate, Halloween party, spooky spirit, trick or treat, wear costumes. Very expected traditions for this holiday. I will say this is a modern tradition and it is one of my favorites because I love the traditions that create an event or an activity and like your Sims go off to do like a rabbit hole activity, and I love that because I can choose how much I want to distract from the rest of my household. Maybe you don't want to throw a Halloween party, but you still want to be invited to a Halloween party. And I think that can play in a lot of different ways in terms of gameplay. And that is not a day off from school or work. Next up, we have Harvest Fest break. So this is meant to be like Thanksgiving break. I think you can extend this if you wanted to. I feel like we've already got a lot of days off from school for the kids in this holiday holiday calendar, so I did not do it the entire week. I know that it varies between like school districts. Like some schools get the entire week off of Thanksgiving, some just get like a couple days. So I just tried to keep it in a happy medium of like getting half the week off. But you can definitely add just more Harvest Fest break holidays here. The traditions are baking, fall fun, games, go on vacation or travel, and invite guests. So a lot of these obviously self-explanatory, but I wanted to include baking in here. I don't necessarily always like to include something related to a specific skill because I feel like not all my Sims are gonna like to bake, but I do feel like even if you are not like a hardcore baker, you might still attempt to bake something for Thanksgiving or like whatever the case is. I also think it's just a nice way to remind yourself to try out one of the skills. It's just like real life, right? I don't need to be super duper into baking to decide to try and make cupcakes one day. I thought it made sense in that way. And this is a day off for school or work, but again, your kids would stay home. Your adults would not. Next, we have Harvest Fest, and this is definitely a default holiday. Like I mentioned when I was speaking about Lucky Gnomes Day, I took out the Holiday Gnomes tradition, and so the traditions are decorate, grand meal, invite guests, party spirit, and thankful spirit. This is a day off from work or school. And then we have Green Friday. So this is supposed to mimic Black Friday that we have in the US, where everybody goes crazy shopping and getting discounts. I thought it would be fun to have something like that in The Sims. It's not necessarily like exactly the same. I tried to do my best. So the traditions are appreciate an object, donate, fall fun, go shopping, and party spirit. I feel like fall fun makes sense here because not all of your Sims are going to want to go shopping on this day. Some people are just going to treat it as a day off. So I included that in here. If you're like me and my family, usually the day after Thanksgiving, Harvest Fest, we start prepping for Christmas, and like we normally like go get the Christmas tree this day and start decorating and stuff. So that's something you can definitely like incorporate into your gameplay if it appeals to you. But otherwise you can just go for fall fun. And then obviously appreciate an object. It could be like, you know, pretend you're going to the store and you're appreciating an object in the store and then you buy it. Or perhaps you're like anti-Green Friday and your Sim is like, you don't need to be a capitalist. Don't spend your money. And then maybe they appreciate their own objects at home. I don't know. You spin it however you want. In that case of anti-Green Friday would be another reason that your Sim would donate instead of going out and like spending money. So I tried to include traditions that would give you avenues into like a variety of gameplay. Green Friday is a day off of work and school because in the US it is a day off. Okay, and now we are moving on to winter. We have December, which starts on this day and goes through this day, and then we have January from here to here. And then we have February, which is actually our shortest month within the entire holiday calendar guide because February is the shortest month of the year. To start, we have Winterfest Eve, which, as you might guess, is Christmas Eve. So for Winterfest Eve, we have Father Winter, Festive Lighting, Festive Spirit, Grand Meal, and Party Spirit. And then we have, obviously, Winterfest with Festive Spirit, games, give gifts, invite guests, and open presents. There is no Father Winter in this one because I feel like in this one, you're really just like opening up the gifts that were already left there. You see Father Winter like the night before. You don't really see him like on Christmas. I think originally like the default holiday is like on Winterfest, like you do the grand lighting and the grand meals, and I moved that to Winterfest Eve. So I did kind of like edit that a little bit. Both Winterfest Eve and Winterfest are a day off from school or work. And then we have, as you might have guessed, winter break. So winter break was a little bit tricky for me because being that spring break was an actual week to match what spring break is in real life, which is 1 week, but summer vacation was 2 weeks to match 2 months. As you can see how it gets tricky, right? And then so winter break in real life is usually 2 weeks. I still made it 1 week. I think potentially an edit that I might make in the future is to have winter break be a week and a half maybe. So for winter break, we have games, go on vacation or travel, invite guests, snow fun, and watch movies. Some of these, again, are modded traditions. This is a day off from work or school. And then we have Fleabazoob's Eve. Okay, yes, that's right. No, your Sims game did not just turn on. That was me speaking Simlish. So basically, the way I came up with Flea Bazoob, okay, there is fact behind this. I went and I watched The Sims on New Year's Eve, okay, in the game. I watched them do the countdown a million times because it's very hard to figure out what they're saying. It sounded like they were saying Flea Bazoob. So when they say Happy New Year, they're saying Flea Bazoob, okay? So it's called Flea Bazoob's Eve. Traditions are countdown to midnight, decorate, fireworks, go on vacation or travel, and party spirit. Very self-explanatory. As you can see, I do not have the resolutions as a tradition in this holiday. That's because I put it as a part of New Year's Day, which is Flea Bazoob Day. It's actually really fun to say. You should try it. I really thought that we needed to have New Year's Day as a holiday. Traditions are cleaning, going on vacation or travel, again, because you're probably going on vacation for winter break, invite guests, make resolutions, and snow fun. And then we have the rest of winter break. Everything here is going to be the same as the first winter break holiday. And then there's no holidays for the following week. And then another unique one that is not family focused. We have the Super Llama Bowl. This is meant to be like the Super Bowl that we have in February in the US. We have the traditions to be barbecue, go on vacation or travel, invite guests, party spirit, and sports TV. I think you can spin this however you want. In fact, I originally had a playoff. I think it was like llama playoffs. I originally had that the week before. So if you have a very sports focused sim, you could add more sports holidays like that. We just have Super Llama Bowl, and I think it's just a fun thing. Even if your sims are not into sports, I feel like you could still pretend like you get invited to go out by your friends who maybe you just want to go to the bar like for the vibes, not a day off. And then finally, our very last holiday of this entire calendar guide, we have Love Day. This is also a default holiday. I just made a little bit of tweaks. We have give gifts, go on a date, romantic spirit, watch romantic TV, and woohoo, which is a modern tradition. And that, my cozy cuties, is not the end of the video, but the end of our season and holiday breakdown. And now I'm going to briefly talk about all the mods that I included or that I use to put this calendar together. I'm not going to list each and every mod because there's literally a lot. A lot of the holiday tradition mods out there, you can download each tradition individually. So you can imagine that you end up with like a lot of files and links. I think it would be super tedious if I covered each one by one. So I'm just gonna briefly share that I have two different types of mods related to calendars or holidays in my game. The first one I would say is just like any tradition based mod. The other type of mod is just for more holiday icons. There are, I think, less of those out there, but they usually come with a lot of icons. And the icons are important. I don't know about you, but like we have very limited icons just that come with the game. I will give you a super duper small pro tip with these mods. Keep all of your traditions in one mod folder. Within your mods folder, create a folder for holiday traditions to keep it organized and to keep yourself sane. I would definitely organize them into one folder. If you have any suggestions for mods that could make this calendar work even better, please share them in the comments. Now that we're done going through the holidays, I am so curious if you have a favorite that I covered or if you have an idea for another holiday that I should add into this calendar. Please tell me in the comments. I'm always looking for new ideas. Also, if you want to see any of these holidays like in action, I'm currently doing the Very Veggie Legacy Challenge on my YouTube channel as a playthrough. Feel free to check that out. And last but not least, we have the very special Notion template that I created and put a lot of love into. I also created like a PDF image version of this calendar. I know that we all consume content in different ways and we all have our preferences for how we like to save things. And so I will be posting the images on my Instagram if you want to follow me there and you want to like save the Instagram post and have that to like reference when you're playing through your game, if that's easier for you. Cringy plug, but whatever. I want you to have your resources, okay? And then for Notion, I really wanted to create something that was flexible enough that I could easily like edit things and I could easily like share it for you guys to like duplicate it, and you can go in and like, for example, I have everything broken out here like in table view. So if you wanted to be like, okay, I really want to use this monthly breakdown concept concept, but you don't necessarily want to like keep the same holidays, or maybe you want to like extend one of the months to be longer than the other, you absolutely can do whatever you want. You're just gonna have to like duplicate this, and you can do that by going up into the upper right corner. It's kind of cut off, but it is like a little 2 square icon. If you're a very visual person, I feel like this is gonna be really great for you. If you want a place to like document your calendar outside of the game, it is very possible. I'm not trying to put this bad juju on you, okay, but we all know that The Sims 4 is very finicky and our saves get corrupted, okay? So if you want somewhere to have this safely kept, okay, so you don't have to like redo all this work if you end up like editing this, then I would definitely either like duplicate this, or maybe like just copy this, you know, take a screenshot, copy it onto your own like Word doc or Excel sheet, however you organize your stuff, queen, okay? I just want you to have what you need, okay? And I don't want you to lose it. It's pretty self-explanatory, so I'm not really gonna go through everything like in detail here, but basically you have headers to break out each season, and then within each season I broke out each month. Each season I have laid out like in a table format, and then I color coded each month within each season in case you wanted to like really easily and visually see the breakout. But also we have a key up here at the top of every season that tells you how many days each month is and what color it corresponds to. Then if you go through to each month, I listed every holiday within that month, within that season, and I listed the title and whether or not it is a day off or not, and then all of the traditions. I started going through this and listing which traditions were modded or not, but then I thought maybe it would get redundant. So definitely, if you want me to differentiate which traditions are modded and which ones aren't, then let me know in the comments. And this is a live template, so I can edit it at any point, and I can definitely go in and do that if you guys would prefer for me to do that. I tried also to make the colors of each month like themed to whatever goes on in that month. So like you'll see that like October is orange because of Halloween, and November is brown because of Thanksgiving and fall. So I think about all of the details. I try, but then, you know, I'll find a typo or something and I'm like, bro, if you want to duplicate or download this Notion template, you can. It is linked in the description of this video. If you have any questions about how to use Notion, I am by no means a Notion expert. I know my way around it. I do my best, so I can try my best to answer your questions. And that, my divas and queens and everything in between, is the end of our video. I am literally starting to lose my voice is how long I've been recording, but I really wanted to give you guys all of the information possible for you guys to use this to the best of your ability and hopefully enjoy the way that it impacts your gameplay. And I especially hope that it helps you slow down, enjoy being with your Sims more. If there's any other kind of guide that you want me to make, or any ideas for a future video that you want to see, anything that you need help with or are not really sure how to like systemize, I absolutely love structuring and systemizing things. So by all means, comment down below. Doesn't matter what it is. You can think it's like simple, straightforward, whatever it is, just comment it and I will do my best to put something out that hopefully will solve your problems or answer your questions. Yeah, and if you stayed till the end of the video, oh my god, I freaking appreciate you. Definitely like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more things from me or like this in general. I will see you guys all in the next one, and if nobody's told you yet today, I am proud of you. You are doing a great job. Remember that your best is always enough, and nobody can really take that away from you. Be kind to yourself, get yourself a treat, and go freaking play the heck out of The Sims with this calendar, okay? Bye!